Welcome to Life as God Intended. Let me ask you a question. Do you really know who you are? Most of us spend years, even decades, searching for identity. We try to define ourselves by our jobs, our accomplishments, our family roles, and even our failures. The world tells us, be yourself, create yourself, find yourself. But here's the truth. You were never created to live independently. You were designed to be a derivative being, to draw your very identity, your life from God Himself. The Apostle Paul puts it this way, "For in Him we live and move and have our being." Acts 17:28. The problem is an identity crisis. From the very beginning, mankind has wrestled with this. In the garden, Adam and Eve lost the indwelling presence of God through unbelief, and humanity has been confused about identity ever since. We see it today in countless ways. People striving endlessly for success, chasing approval from parents, peers, or society, trying to cover insecurity with performance, appearance, and possessions. And even in the church, many sincere Christians believe they must work hard to become more Christ-like, as if identity is something you build with effort. But the result is always the same: emptiness, insecurity, striving, because apart from Christ, there is no true self. The truth about our derivative design. Here's the liberating reality. You were never meant to create an identity. You were meant to receive one. Man is not independent. We are derivative, which simply means that our lives make sense when they are plugged into the source, that source being Jesus Christ Himself. Paul testifies in Galatians 2:20, "I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live. Yet not I, but Christ lives in me. And the life, which I now live in the flesh, in this body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave Himself for me." Paul doesn't say, "I figured out how to be like Christ." He says, "It's not I, but Christ lives in me." This is identity. This is life as God intended. The transformation begins to be realized by receiving life in Christ. When you trusted Christ, you didn't just receive forgiveness of sins, you received a new source of life. You were joined to Christ Himself. His Spirit took up residence in you. Your identity is now Christ in you. This means you don't have to strive to prove yourself. You don't have to live in fear of rejection. You don't have to wonder who you are any longer. You can begin to rest in the unshakable truth that your identity is secure in Him. May I illustrate it like this? A lamp itself cannot produce light. It may look nice, but it's powerless until it's plugged into electricity. Once connected, it shines, not because it tries harder, but because it receives power from the source. That's you. Your identity shines when you are plugged into Christ. Or picture with me the two trees. In Genesis, Adam and Eve could eat from the tree of life, living from God's sufficiency. Or they could eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, trying to live by their own independent effort, which was essentially the lie, because there's no such thing as an independent self. One leads to life, and the other leads to death. Every day, the same choice is before us: derive from Christ or live from self or Mr. Selfishness. Let me give a practical application and make this personal. In my years of counseling, I've met people who appeared confident and successful, and deep down, they were terrified of being unworthy, not fitting in, not belonging. One young woman constantly chased approval from her father, from relationships, and even from God. What was the result? She was exhausted. But when she discovered that her worth didn't come from performance, but rather from Christ living in her, it was like a burden fell away. She could finally breathe. She could finally rest, because her identity was no longer in what she did, but in who she was in Christ. So let me ask you, where have you been trying to create or perform your identity? And how might Christ be inviting you to rest in his sufficiency? I'd love to hear from you. Share your comments. Your story might encourage someone else. And if you want to go deeper, this teaching is drawn from chapter 2 of Free to Be in Christ. The workbook includes reflection questions, exercises to help you walk this out in your own life. And in our next broadcast, we'll rotate to the relationship theme and explore marriage. Not as the world defines it, but as God intended it, a dance of divine love. You won't want to miss it. This next broadcast will be taken from Volume 2, Free to Relate in Christ. And remember, your identity is not self-made. It is Christ in you. That is life as God intended.